Getting
I'll
out.
make it feel honest this time. Hey, I'm Tim, and yeah, I started middle music with some other folks, and I'm looking forward to talking to everyone.
Hey, Tim.
Excellent.
Hey, Tim.
Who's everyone else?
I'm Ash. I'm SKRT, part of SKRT. It's nice to meet you.
I'm
I'm
Dave.
Abby. I'm also part of SKRT. That's Daisy. He's also part of SKRT. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a section. I'm a part of Lung.
I'm Kate. I'm part of Lung. Half of Lung.
Lung half.
Mm-hmm.
Who's this?
Does that leave you, Brad?
Yes. I'm Brad.
Don't forget Mike.
Oh,
I don't mean to outshine you, Brad. It's good to see you too. It's good
no,
to
I'm not the subject of the interview. So I'm Brad, and I work at Middle Music with Tim. So anyway.
Cool. Well, I'm curious because I know Lung well. SKRT. So are y'all are from Dayton? Is that
Yes.
true?
Yeah. That's
Cool.
where
How long have you all been playing for?
we started in 2013 as a two-piece, and then we brought Micah on a couple of years later. So we've been out and about that long.
Oh, awesome. Are you from have you all played like throughout the Midwest much or
A bit,
Mostly.
mostly.
And
What?
Cincinnati and like Ohio and a little Kentucky. We're just kind of like homebody band. And we're looking to change that here and there, but like for the most part it's been in the area. We just like to we like to say that we were our local bar's house band because we just play there a lot. But
what bar is that?
Blind Bob's and the Oregon District and Dayton. It's like the spot for all the good shows.
It's one of the best rock and roll bars in the world, easily.
Wow. What
A lot of fun.
could you tell me more about the spot or tell us?
Well, Ash worked there, so I'm sure they know the full history. Like, of,
I don't know the full history. It
It's
started
great.
in 2008 by a guy named Nate Mendenhall. And it's named after his dad, Bob, who's legitimately blind. And it's just been a spot for like mostly like punk and rock and roll and everything in between. Your local dive that you don't smoke in.
Awesome. So do they do shows like weekends or is it like any day of the week?
When things were up and running, normally it was like maybe a Thursday show, definitely on the weekends, and like an open mic night scattered during the week. And Wednesday nights were always karaoke nights that I'm sure they miss now, but didn't like all the time.
I don't know what they're doing now.
No.
For anything. I know they're still doing like food, but they're a restaurant too. Pretty good restaurant. So.
All right.
You
Yeah.
gotta pick some food.
I don't think I've ever been to Dayton.
Really?
No, I've played in a lot of Ohio cities, but I don't think I ever knew of venues in Dayton to send emails to. So
Now you do.
yeah, I don't think I've actually known Dayton bands. So I'm happy to.
That's amazing because there's like, I would actually rate Dayton as the best city in Ohio to play music in. If I had to pick one, yeah. All right, it's true.
So I have a question. So you're both so Long, you're from Cincinnati, correct?
Right.
And SKRT is from Dayton. So I'm assuming that's how you all know each other. You met kind of through because they're pretty close together.
Yeah.
So in that scene, I was curious because I've been there a few times. So a friend of mine used to live in the area, and I was always just really curious about that community. Like, how does that work in terms, especially like touring? Because you're really like you're in Southern Ohio, but there's like a lot of other neighboring states. Like, how does that ecosystem? Or I guess what did that ecosystem look like when you all were starting out?
I mean, I guess the thing is you can drive a couple, like not even, 2 hours in any direction and hit another city. And like, some of those cities, there's also, friends and cool bands and stuff. And that definitely makes being able to travel a little bit and play music a lot easier, that you don't have to go like 6 hours away or go 10 hours or whatever, which is cool. And we meet awesome people like, you know, for example, SKRT. Then we make records.
I'm sorry. I think we got close, like playing each other's lady fests.
Yeah.
We knew each other like before that, but like we each were as like just individuals like directly involved in our respective cities' lady fests, which you know is like kind of like celebrating women in music in our area, and then like we bring in like all the cool like punks and artists from like we would just leech off of each other's and like we build this really good like tri-state area like collection of like you know female centric artists and stuff, and like in doing that we were both kind of like in like a leadership role for the whole thing, so we had like the same stresses and like you know like trying to figure it all out and make it work and do that. I think we got like really close really quick like as bands, so it was kind of fun to like have that like system because we met a lot of people from all over that way real fast. So like when they got started it was just kind of like we got to like watch them grow from the start. So it was pretty cool.
So did Dayton put on or you're involved with a Lady Fest in Dayton?
Oh yeah, Lady Fest Dayton and then Lady Fest Cincinnati, which Daisy and Rochelle and Kate were all like kind of in charge of amongst others. But like me and our friend Paige Beller from Dayton, she's a great musician. It's kind of like headed our Lady Fest in Dayton, and it was just kind of through that, you know, connection, we all kind of like decided to play music together all the time. So,
The Lady Fest, the Dayton Lady Fest has been going on for what, like a decade or something? Like that might be the oldest Lady Fest in Ohio, or at least longest running.
Wow.
But I know it's awesome. It's really well done. Paige does an amazing job with it.
Yeah, are there other ones in cities in Ohio?
I feel like they did something different in Columbus a few years back called like
Yeah, because we played
FemFest.
one in Columbus.
I don't know about like a Lady Fest per se. Like the original one was like a big one in like Olympia, Washington, and then there's you know it's kind of like not like a name brand, but like that's what it's like based off of. So I think there's like different iterations in different like maybe the surrounding area, but I don't know if they're all called Lady Fest, but there's a lot of support in the circle and then in Ohio. So.
Yeah. So you all have a split vinyl coming out in a month, mid-April, right?
April 10th.
Cool. So
At
when
3
did, how did I'm curious how that idea came about, because doing splits has come up as an idea with bands I've been in constantly, but then it's never happened. I'm just curious, like how the process came about.
I mean, I think the idea had been there for a while to do something. Like we weren't sure what, because we both like we like each other as people and like each other as bands. I can speak from my personal experience with it. I feel like we'd been bouncing the idea back and forth, and then I believe we were in like Prague or something crazy like that on tour, and Abby texted me and was like, hey, how would you feel about doing like a full split record? Like in we were kind of like, that's a crazy idea, and then we're like, actually that's kind of cool. And like she sent us the songs, and like they're kind of, we love SKRT, and they were like, you know, songs we thought were incredible, and we had some songs left over from a recording that like didn't work with what we were going for with that, but like songs we liked, and it was kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of complemented each other. It kind of was like fit together, I guess, and that's rare. So I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of a lost art doing like collaborative records like that, and I feel like I feel like they complement each other as a piece. And
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think they sound to go together amazingly. So when did you record the songs?
Oh gosh, we recorded I guess summer of 2018.
19, I
Right?
think. Yeah.
I think no, 19. Yeah. God, time. What is it? But yeah, summer of 2019, and then we finished it up like late fall before we went on tour.
Right.
So, what
Those
about
about
you all?
some stuff.
Weren't you all working with John Hoffman, like doing other recordings too? And
I think it was about the same time. Was it August, Abby?
Yeah, it
That-
was
yeah.
August in the fall too.
Yeah, we spent 2
Busy
days
guy.
with John Hoffman. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Oh yeah, we spent 2 days recording with John Hoffman in Dayton, Kentucky at the lodge, and then we went back I think 2 months later and mixed with him also. But then,
We
yeah, we
were-
started of 19.
All right.
So all this
then-
was recorded in Dayton, Kentucky in different studios, I just realized.
Yeah, we drove from Dayton to Dayton, which was awesome.
I didn't know there was a date in Kentucky.
There
We
is,
did it.
it's right across from Cincinnati.
Huh. Awesome. So I guess did it take a while to like get this project out and together, or?
Yes, it did.
Yes.
like the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
That little.
That was a big part of it.
You might have heard about that.
And so I think we probably, would have released it sooner if everything didn't just drastically change this whole year. But now this feels like a good time to release some music.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, do you think you all will like do any touring together whenever that is a reasonable thing to do? Or
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. That'd be
Yeah, would love that.
That's our like wildest dream. Like I would love to do that more than anything. That'd be so much fun.
it would be pretty
It
good.
has to be like totally safe. Otherwise, like I think all of
Yeah.
us are a little like hypochondrial, if that's the word. We're like freaking out
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time. So it'd be nice
But
to
that
not
would be
do that.
ideal though. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be the best.
yeah,
That would be amazing when once it's all buttoned up. And
yeah, I'm really intrigued by like when that happens.
We should all just get vaccinated and then wear spacesuits.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I looked
Yeah.
into like Flaming Lips did the show where everyone's in a bubble. And it cost about $100 to $150 to get a human bubble.
you get to keep the bubble afterwards.
I think so.
Good souvenir.
But then also, I don't know, like, I don't know, how long could you be in a bubble and enjoy being in a bubble?
Or breathe. Like I looked at that and I was like, these people are gonna die pretty quickly.
Yeah, we've got a short set, so
Guess we need like a medium-sized bubble for air.
You
Maybe
can hold
that's
your
the
breath. in
idea. It's
short
like
set.
a short set fest. You go in the bubble for 15 minutes, then you roll out.
yes.
And then another bubble rolls in.
Yeah.
You can't share the same bubble.
I do like the floor is lava with the grass, and had people like spaced out, and it's like the floor is lava. I mean, unless you really need to like move off of your space.
Well, couldn't the bubbles butt up against each other? Or is that not?
We could
Proper.
fight. We could have bubble wars. Like band wars, but bubble wars. You like charge and whoever wins gets to play.
This is a good idea.
So you get the bands, but you don't guarantee a slot. It's based
Yeah.
on your bubble fighting abilities.
Yeah, so you just charge like hamsters at each other. Bubble, bubble, bubble. And then one of them gets knocked over off the stage and is like in the
What
stage, and
hamsters do
everybody-
this?
Everybody is like lifting up the band that lost in the audience in their bubble. And so they're just dancing around in their bubble.
And
As
we
the other
said
band.
battle of the bands. We meant it.
Yeah, bubble.
Bubble of the bands.
Bubble of the bands. Yeah.
Oh, I'm worried that I'm going to think about if this is a real thing to do.
We should do it. We should do it.
It's possible now. I'm willing to try anything. So if that's what we got to do, I'm down. 100%.
All right.
I think
Bubble.
if everybody's in bubbles, couldn't you have the show like on the water? Like you could do this in Michigan City, like in the lake. Everybody's in bubbles and the band's in a bubble too, and everyone's just like cruising on the water.
Somehow I feel like someone will get electrocuted. I don't know. That seems scary. Like
I'm pretty sure that when I was a kid, it was Fastball or Semisonic or one other band that's just like that played on a boat on the beach in Michigan City. I don't know why it happened. and I didn't go, but it happened.
Was it like in the park or was it like?
Yeah, it was like right by Washington Park. So, I mean, I think you could do a show where bands are on boats. You get your kayak, your paddle boat.
It could be done.
That'd be
I think
fun.
Metallica and Hole did that where they like played on a boat in the Arctic Circle at some point.
Metallica and Hole played
I
together.
believe so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not making this up.
I
Really?
just think that pairing alone is interesting enough.
I feel like there was someone else '90s involved. Like it was like Blues Traveler and Hole and
Family Sonic and Fastball.
exactly.
Holy Trinity.
This is the night. This is the 2022 Swale Fest lineup right here.
Yeah,
How
I'll
it's gonna
reach it.
go.
They're probably all desperate to play. So,
Yeah, call them up. Like, hey Lars,
yeah, and I just be like, we just want to hear load and reload. That's it. Just the good stuff. So
Metallica
Same
playing the
anchor.
Load records, Hole playing Live Through This and Before. No, I'll take any Hole. I don't care. Blues Traveler, they can stay home, or they can come. I don't care.
I saw Blues Traveler once. It was they covered Creep by Radiohead. It was
Was it good?
Oh.
I don't know if I've ever thought anyone playing that was good. That's
Does
what I
it have
noticed.
harmonica
Hey.
in it?
There's a lot of harmonica. Yes.
In Creep?
Yes.
Why does that make it sadder than it already is?
I don't know.
I don't think you sound sad with a harmonica, really. Phony sad.
I just
Different kind of
realized that
setting.
when open mics are
Yeah.
a thing again, that means I have to hear Creep at them again. So that might just be is that all? Does that happen, or is that an Indiana thing?
I've never seen anybody play the song Creep ever, including Radiohead.
I've definitely seen it. Karaoke. at least twice.
Yeah, like drunk, like I'm a creep.
I saw somebody just sing it once, or where they just talked the whole
Yeah.
time. It was like beat poetry.
That's cooler.
I don't know if it was.
That's
I'm not gonna
freakier.
say that it was, but it was.
Was
I
that
watched
more or
the-
less sad than the harmonica version? Like, which of those two is sadder?
There was a coffee
Different
house
kind of sad.
by where I grew up that had it was like all like when I was like 18 or so, there's like friends out, everyone's like chain smoking outside the coffee house, and they all were singing it, like one person with a ukulele, and all these like chain smoking teenagers were like, I'm a creep, I'm a-" which kind of negates the purpose of the song, but it was cool. It's a fun time.
I love that.
Yeah.
Heartwarming.
So I guess back to you all's music instead of Creep and Blues Traveler. I guess I didn't have a question yet. Sorry. I guess it's long.
Oh, I'll
Go ahead, Brad. Yeah.
What have you, I guess, Tim alluded to this earlier about the idea of a split EP being something that like maybe a lot of bands will consider, but maybe not a lot do. So what was the process? I guess like what did you feel like you learned from this process of doing a split EP, like from like the song selection or just like getting everything to mesh together?
I think our decision to do a longer split was that we didn't want to break up the songs we recorded. I think we initially went in planning on recording 2 or 3 and doing a 7-inch split. But once we ended up recording 6, and we just really liked the way they flowed together. So that's when we had the idea to do a 12-inch split to kind of give each band a little more room.
I feel like that kind of like the idea challenged us to kind of put stuff together in a way that we wouldn't have, that complemented the way the Skirt songs flowed too. Because like our side is definitely some songs that we play live that are a little more aggressive that didn't really fit on the record that we were working with, and like we probably wouldn't have put them together in that exact way without like there being like the response and like fitting it and like fitting it where it was kind of like a challenge creatively. It was cool.
Because for long, those were written and recorded at the same time as like your last full length.
Okay, bear with me. This is complicated.
Okay.
We at the time we recorded these songs that are on the Split Skirt, we recorded probably about 17 or 18 songs. 12 of those are on a record that has not come out yet, right? This is 2019, so that record is still hanging out. since then we recorded a whole other record. So we're kind of backed up a few records in terms of
You're telling me there's this and then 2 more Lung albums coming out.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
that's
have the
cool.
album from before on a little island. It's on an island, and then we're going to be releasing the one we worked on this past year first. And then after that, we'll release the one from earlier.
And then the SKRT split is another island. It's another
Yeah.
archipelago or inlet or peninsula or whatever of songs
Wow.
that we're on with our friends.
Well, that's great news. Thanks for recording all those songs. But yeah, then I never said your band name out loud. SKRT, that's correct.
Yes.
In my mind, it was SKRT. So yeah,
It's on a tattoo bed.
yeah, did it feel a different experience, like putting together, knowing it would be like paired with Lung on the other side?
I think
I don't know. We kind of already like, we don't really, I don't know. Actually, Michael, what do you think about that? I don't know.
I think we wanted to do something better than we had done before because we love Long, and we
Step it up for sure.
yeah, so we wanted to do something that we were happier with than the things we had recorded in the past, and we were happy with what we recorded. Working with John was awesome. He worked really hard on all of our songs. So yeah, I think there was probably a little more pressure on us to do something that we were happy with.
Yeah, we hadn't like found the right person to record with even until like John just happened to like record a lot of Long's like material. So it kind of like, that was definitely like a good like bridge to make this split kind of like more cohesive, is that the same person mastered and recorded most of it. So
Had you previously done recording in a more like DIY style, or just weren't
just like
happy?
friends and acquaintances that like they were in the field but like maybe weren't necessarily like more attuned to our style like as John is. Then so like they were good, but it wasn't ever like exactly what we wanted. And he was definitely more willing to experiment with like a bunch of weird shit that like we never even thought to do. And he was in this big old like Mason lodge with all these weird like hidden rooms, and like it was just kind of otherworldly for us. So it was very like inspirational to be even weirder than we were before with like things we were willing to try recording. So it was definitely super cool, and he's a big part of it.
John is really good at he's really good at like making bands sound like the best possible versions of themselves, like getting like the right performance out of bands, but also bringing studio stuff to the equation that enhances it. Like he's a really skilled engineer. He's probably the most skilled engineer we've ever worked with or I've ever known. He's great.
And he's based in Dayton, Kentucky.
He lives in Cincinnati, but he records at the lodge in Dayton, Kentucky.
Yeah, and I guess I feel like I just had an experience of having like a professional mixing album for the first time, and I can't believe I think I understand what mixing actually is now somewhat. It changes.
Record?
Yeah,
which mixed really good. It sounds awesome, by the way.
Yeah, which thank you, Kate, for playing on 2 songs.
Thanks for having me on it.
But yeah, it's just like I couldn't believe it. Like I'm used to some like an amateur, or I don't know, someone who kind of knows how to mix, and I was like, holy cow, this just changes everything. Yeah, I'm curious, SKRT, have you all listened to a Negative Piece before?
I haven't.
Oh, I know of them because of Lung, and you all reminded me of them a lot. I don't know.
Where are they from?
From Bloomington.
Bloomington?
Yeah, because I just heard them from, what was that virtual fest that you all? That
the one at Midway?
Yeah, because Negative Pieces, their set, I don't know what they were doing, but there's a lot of bizarre video stuff going on.
Yeah.
And their sound
cool
reminded me of you all as well. But
so I can see that a little bit.
So I recommend checking them out. I think it's kind of like the song structures and builds. reminded me of them. So
Cool.
yeah, I guess with Kurt, do you all have any projects planned after this release? Or?
We
No, I just like started like getting like back in where we felt safe practicing again. So we're doing like probably like double practices for a while, and going to do a bunch of writing and just get back in with John as soon as possible and record some more stuff. Like we've already got a good handful that we've got from before and just from starting up again, but we just want to start churning out way more material than before now that we've found him and a good place to go with it. So I think that's probably our little plan. We don't have any like show plans or anything.
Oh, wait, so how long of a break did you all take from playing?
We stopped
A good
playing
couple
in-
months for a while. Like just we started like kind of sprinkling them in and like where we could spread out in this bigger space, and then we kind of like lost our access to that like space and had to just decided to put it on pause for a while just to be safe, because our space that we use most of the time is very small. But we were able to kind of figure it out here lately how to do it safely, and it's just been kind of touch and go. But I think we're like back in a good flow with it, and
Yeah, so
it'll
Daisy
be-
and Kate, have you all been playing together during COVID?
We took a lot of time off at the beginning, like, and like we wrote stuff over the internet. So I would send Daisy an idea, he'd send me an idea, and we'd sort of just build off of it in that way. And then we've done like very sporadic practices. Like I work at a restaurant, so I get tested all the time for COVID, like all the freaking time. And so we sort of like arrange things around, you know, when I would get negative tests and stuff. Like,
Yeah, I think like it was sort of based more on like how much either of us are involved in the public. Like I feel like the first 2 or 3 months we didn't practice at all because we had a common practice space with a bunch of people that we didn't want to be in. And then randomly a friend let us use like a giant practice space for a couple months that we could be distanced in. It's kind of just depended on what part of the year, really. It's been kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
graduates haven't. I think Ash might be trying to get back in. I think they dropped off the do you know if there's like a queue or something for people getting in?
Yeah, so I just hit admit down here. It shows that Ash is still waiting to join.
I think they're
So
having some computer issues. So
yeah, I can always resend the link or readmit or whatever on that. So
they might be like just waiting to get in, I think.
yeah, because it says joining, and then it's got like, you know, it's like joining.
oh,
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 Joining.
there we go. Cool.
yay.
Oh my God. Okay.
Welcome
Yay,
back.
you're back.
Yes.
But now it's just a picture of you. Oh, there you are.
hello
I'm sorry
again.
about that.
That's okay.
I hope you guys weren't like talking shit the whole time.
We actually weren't talking at all. We were just waiting for you.
No,
It's
We're
dead
singing
silent.
Creep.
We weren't even moving.
don't ever wait on me. Don't ever do that.
We were all singing Creep and playing harmonicas.
It's great. I didn't even know I had a harmonica until that started.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess Skirt, are there any like for songwriting, are there any like main like bands or artists that are influential for y'all?
I can't speak on behalf of everybody else's like what they introduce for the songwriting process, but for me when I do stuff, oh God. It's sometimes it depends on what I've been listening to that month, but I feel like a lot of it's been the history of it, like a bunch of Riot Girl stuff, 90s alternative, Slint, grunge, and those feel good like cadences from the 90s. Edith Piaf and Judy Garland somewhere in there, a little bit of that sprinkled in there, vocally wise. But I feel like as a band, what's something that we like come together on and we're like, that sounds very like this, and I love it. You
Deer
guys.
hoof.
I never can compare, like we can't.
We don't sound like them. That's just one that we all like.
Yeah.
Wait, do all three of you like Deerhoof or just two? You said Deerhoof?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
love
Abby and I
Deerhoof.
are in love with Deerhoof, and actually, I don't think we sound
We're
like them.
always subconsciously thinking of Deerhoof, so I
Yeah.
think it's just gonna make its way into anything, whether we're making a sandwich or playing a song or whatever, it's just in there. So like, and you know, we've made Ash listen to it so much that they like it, but like it's in there too. Like it's just like no matter what, but we don't sound like them. It's just, you know, it's I don't know. We're
No,
dancing.
you got some of their. They have like this sort of out there weird awesomeness going on, and this like some of the crazy is similar.
Thank
I
you.
can see you all don't sound like them, but it makes sense that you all like them. Then
It's a
again,
good
what band?
vibe.
You never hear a band, you're like, that band sounds like Deerhoof. Like that never happened.
No, that's
Yeah.
not possible.
No.
Because I think it's like the spirit of Deerhoof that probably.
Right.
Exactly.
And that-
Exactly.
And they're probably one of the first like indie obscure bands I ever listened to. Somehow Michigan City's public library had their album in like 2003. And
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Tim went in that library and all he listened to was John Cougar Mellencamp, and then he gets the CD, and all of a sudden now here he is.
you know, because of that library, I've heard almost every Dylan and Bowie album, and most of them once. But yeah, I mean, so for Skirt, do you all write, like, is it a very like collaborative process, or is there a way that your songs tend to get formed?
Most of the time I've brought something to them, or like shambles of what I want a song to be. Like here's some riffs and I've got maybe some lyrics, or here's a little riff I made, and then I'll bring it in there and we'll just play with it and play around with it, jam on it for a while until maybe it becomes something. We have lost so much stuff is just came and went. I've got like 300 some recordings on my phone of stuff that I'm like, that would be neat if I could make it into a song. And because of ADHD and marijuana, a lot of them have gone, but what have stuck, I think, is something truly genuine. But sometimes, like, I think Mike had the idea for Black Adderall. He just started playing a bass riff one day, and I was like, okay, that feels good.
That's a
And
great.
sometimes it happens that way.
Oh, awesome. But yeah, Lung, I don't know this because I don't think I've ever talked about, like, I think we only talk about local bands. Who tend to be your influences for songwriting?
Like that we agree on or individually? Because that's a hot
Well,
topic.
Yeah.
How about both? I mean, is Deerhoof a starting place, or no, are you all divided on Deerhoof?
I actually don't know how Kate feels about Deerhoof.
I like Deerhoof. Like they're great. I saw them live when they played at Urban Artifact. They put on one amazing live show.
Well, I've seen them like 7 times. I
Yeah,
absolutely
they're fantastic.
love seeing
They're
that.
really good. I don't know, what bands do we agree on? Tori Amos.
We agree on. We like. Do you like X Girl? That one. Do you
Yeah,
like-
that's good. I like that.
Yeah, I love X.
9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, 9 Inch Nails for sure. We
That-
agree
I
on a
like-
lot of music. Smart Went Crazy. Smart Went Crazy.
That's probably the big one. The biggest rip off of Lung is Smart Went Crazy.
They're amazing. It's this DC band that Daisy introduced me to like 4 years ago, and they have this incredibly creepy, bizarre breakup album that is worth listening to in the dark while you're driving, and you'll figure yourself out. It's great.
If you know that band Beauty Pill from Washington, D.C., if you've heard of them, Smart Went Crazy is the singer of Beauty Pill's band from the 90s. And it's like, I don't think there's ever been another band quite like them. Like they're kind of they have like the creepy 90s, like almost slinty kind of thing, but then they have this like Baroque kind of classical thing going on, and just like these totally unique song structures and the
Really
lyrics are
weird
perfect.
cello parts.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
cool. Like really just yeah.
It's just totally unique. Like I've never quite heard another band exactly like them.
You did just kind of describe ways I would describe Lung.
We're a direct ripoff. We're a direct
Rip-off.
ripoff. Just kidding. We're
Yeah.
not.
We are.
I am going to listen to that band now. So thank you.
Listen to that and Beauty
That
Pill.
was
Both
fun
those
that
bands
we
are
listened
just
to more.
insane.
Listen to the album that has DC Will Do That to You on
Okay.
it. And you have to listen to the whole thing, and
On
you have
Art.
to maybe listen to it twice through.
Con Art, that's what it's called. It's so good.
Yeah.
I feel like I have found it before, but I'm gonna find it again.
You should revisit it. You should take a vacation. It's smart me crazy.
Speaking of good bands, I like your Body Farm shirt.
Oh, thanks, bud.
The band's
I cropped it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm cropping
I
all my
miss-
shirts these days.
I
Where's
miss
Bob?
seeing bands.
Where's Body Farm from? I don't know that band.
Aren't they from like a farm somewhere in Ohio? Like they're from the middle of nowhere or something.
We played with them right before lockdown, but I don't know where they're
That
from.
was
We
our
went
last
to,
show.
I think they're from around Columbus, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're from Columbus. I'm sorry.
Or a farm.
The entire farm of Columbus. It's just one farm.
Yeah. So I guess, Kate, are there any like songwriters that tend to be influences for you?
I mean, songwriters that I love Suzanne Vega. I love, well, it's not really a songwriter, but like Shostakovich is awesome. It's like if Shostakovich was alive today, I think that he would be in a lot of different weird bands. He has all these like really dark, weird symphonies. Dresden Dolls are great. I love their early stuff. Especially the song Girl Anachronism. That was like my anthem growing up as a kid in Michigan. So
I knew it.
yeah, no, I mean Girl Anachronism is just so good. It's so good. That's like a perfect song. The lyrics are amazing. She sounds like she's just spinning off the planet. It's perfect.
I listened to that album a whole bunch last year. I can't get enough of Amanda Palmer. I swear to God.
Yeah, she's so good.
She is so good. You're so good.
She's so good. You're so good. The Jeep song. The Jeep song. How sad is that song? Like,
Which song?
the Jeep song. Isn't that off that album?
That's like probably my
Yeah.
favorite. It's so and like it's so catchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
So good.
gonna have to talk more about that later.
For sure.
I have too many Dresden Doll opinions.
What are
Yeah,
your-
this might be one that Daisy and I don't agree on.
No, okay, look. Dresden, bear with me. Guns N' Roses, right? That first record, it's great. After that, it gets weird.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. That's my opinion.
So there's a
Some
security
of the Amanda Palmer is really good. Like, I think Amanda Palmer, I liked her lyrics better when she wasn't as famous, but like
Yeah.
melodically, I feel like there's still a lot of stuff that she does that rocks out. And like some of the lyrics, you just have to hear them enough time and then you're like, yeah, I dig this,
I just feel like it's like the first record is Appetite for Destruction, and then Yes, Virginia, No, Virginia is Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. That's all I'm saying.
They lost me at No Virginia. I mean, it makes sense. Like, yes, Virginia, and then you're like, no, Virginia. But
There's a couple good songs on both. There's a couple good songs on both, but it doesn't. The first album is just ridiculous.
Amanda Palmer been putting out music still?
yeah, she just released There Will Be No Intervention, I would say a couple years ago now, which is like a solo thing, a very deep sort of autobiographical. I forgot that fucking word. I'm sorry. I had a cup of wine when I lost my internet.
Autobiographical.
Yeah.
Yes.
He knows it.
Thank you so much.
I like autobiographical. Biographical.
Biographical. That O does not need to be pronounced. So
Autobiographical. It's very sad. It was very. It was good. It was deep. There was a couple of good ones on there that I dug. I liked her Amanda Palmer orchestra one in between her boys. Those were good. If only she knew we were talking so much about her in this interview right now.
You wanna
Yeah,
call her?
we should call her up. Phone a friend. Hey, Amanda, how's it going?
Well, I follow her on Instagram and she's living in New Zealand and she's doing well.
She's one of the people that I've written late night Facebook messages to. Like 4 years ago, I had this idea that if I just would like send people messages late at night, that they would just read them. So I would send all these artists just these messages that are like, I love you so much, and I love this and this and this, and check out my band. So of course,
That's amazing.
we're
Great.
trying to go way
Bless
back.
you.
Did, did you ever get responses?
No, never. You know who else I wrote? I wrote the NPR guy a bunch, and I think I actually creeped him out. Like
Wait, the NPR guy?
the NPR guy, Bob Boylan. I used to like when I used to drink too much, I would drunk email Bob Boylan.
Did we message? Did we message Neil Young's Facebook page while we were
Yeah,
on?
we did. We messaged Neil Young too. He didn't get back to us. We were like, Neil, we're going through where you live. It's California.
Can we see your ranch?
Yeah,
Where's
Only
the Ohio?
yeah.
What?
He didn't come back.
Aw.
One single tear.
Yeah, I guess skirt. What do you have any like favorite experiences, or like what's your favorite part of being like in a music scene? And I guess not playing shows because that's not a thing right now, but in the past when playing shows, was there something like a favorite part of that experience?
I'll let
Probably
you guys.
just the people we meet.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
I would say the people we meet. You know, when we get to play with bands like Lung. There's another band from Cincinnati we really love called Hissing Tiles. But when we get to play with bands like that, it makes it all worthwhile, you know.
Yeah, are there many other Ohio bands you would recommend?
Oh, Dana.
Yeah, Dana is really cool. Yard Boss from Dayton's fun. Abertooth Lincoln from Dayton's Ashley's other band, wonderful.
There's so many of them. I think that's something I favor a lot of playing the shows, is just the meeting people and like meeting other people who are in bands and really enjoying what they do, and them also outside of like playing music, like them as people, and like just making friendships out of it. And like I got like when you asked that question, I thought about the time that Lung played Blind Bob's for the first time ever, and Jimbo got a shot, so many shots.
God.
And we just bonded so hard. It was such
You all set up that show, right? That was our first time in Dayton.
It was your first time in Dayton. Your
That
first
was
time
an
playing
amazing
golf.
show.
That was fun.
Makes me
So
think.
much
Have you all
fun.
ever played at Buzzbin in Canton, Ohio?
No.
No.
We still haven't somehow. We've almost played there a couple times, but it
Gosh,
didn't
that makes me
happen.
think of, I played there once, and I don't know, showed up at like 5 p.m. because anyone who's in a band with me knows I insist on being way early, and just like sit down at the bar, and they're just like, "Hey, I'm experimenting on different shots. Do you want to try them?" It's like, okay. It's like I need to be able to play in a few hours, but yeah, it's just that experience if you show up and you
Mhm.
you hopefully are gonna meet cool people that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, people like drinking in Ohio, especially if they're in bands. It gets weird sometimes.
It gets weird sometimes.
Sometimes you end up in a parking lot in a bush somewhere. Like,
Ash, do you all know what happened at the end of that night?
No. Are we allowed to talk about it here?
sure, I don't care.
Kate,
I want to know.
we went to go get Taco Bell.
No, it was McDonald's.
Oh, it was McDonald's. I
It
did
was
not.
crappier than Taco Bell.
But me and Rochelle
French fries.
rode along with us for that show. That was really early on, and Kate disappeared.
I
And
got out of the van during the drive-through experience.
in the drive-through,
Just left.
and she fully bent all the way around the base of a bush
Oh my,
Like
And I
this
have
shrub.
the bush.
By a shrub, we couldn't find her for like 15 minutes, dude.
You know, we were like,
Like you're in the drive-through, and I ran out and had to find her, and I was like literally searching in like shrubbery and landscaping around.
And then they tried to get me back in, and I didn't want to go because the
Wouldn't
floor
come.
was nice
it
and
was just like
cool. The ground.
wrapped around this bush and puking. It was ridiculous.
I was not puking. That was
No,
like,
One with the earth.
I was not
It's
puking.
all-
like a baby bird with French
I
fries.
was, I was classy. I waited till after the McDonald's at home in the privacy of my own sadness.
damn, I'm sorry. Jimbo does that to the best of us.
It seriously like was. I called Blind Bob's for the longest time. I still do. The drunkest bar in America. Like, it's the drunkest bar in America.
We're desensitized to it. It's just a normal bar.
It's like,
I really feel like you gotta, whenever shows happen again, try Buzzbin. I think they give you a good
That sounds awesome.
give a good
Yeah.
competition.
Good.
That's a recommendation.
It needs to happen at some point. I don't know why. It just, I don't know why we haven't been there yet. We have, I don't know if it's Skirt, if you guys have the same thing, but like Columbus, we play, like Toledo, Dayton, obviously, Athens. We just have never really like connected with anybody in like Northeastern Ohio, like Cleveland or Akron, really. Like there's been a couple cool shows, but like it's not like we don't have people who like we are like with you guys, you know, or like with
Mhm.
Dayton or something, like where it's like we gel. Not that anything against the great cities,
Yeah.
Cleveland or any of its surrounding great cities such as Akron or Canton. We've just never quite found our place there, I guess.
Do you think that's a
We
common-
also don't really have any connections to bands there.
I don't
do you
really
think
even
that's
know
common
how-
in Ohio that there's certain cities that like connect?
Yes, definitely.
Mhm.
I think so,
Yeah.
but I also think like sometimes it's just harder than you'd think to meet the bands that you would really jive with. Like they might be staying home that night when you're playing down the street, or might be playing a show at a different bar that you don't even know about that would like, I don't know, that you'd really vibe with. So yeah, I think sometimes it's just like you're not in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I think
true.
Dayton has a different vibe in every bar.
Yeah.
Totally.
There's like
Yeah.
a different, it's like every bar is like a different genre. So if you get booked at the wrong one when you come through town, you might not get the response that you would have if you get booked at the right one.
Exactly. It'd be the right place at the right time. I mean, that said, like we've had a couple shows in Cleveland where they have a couple friends there and it's cool and had fun, but like, you know.
Well, and then like we lucked out in Detroit. Like we have so many good buds in Detroit, and like it was just one of those awesome, the stars aligned things of like finding the band Tart and Messenger Birds and just
Yeah.
finding our buds who like would go out to Coney Island with us at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
and then do the whole thing
Awesome.
again like a couple months later.
Oh yeah.
And I think Detroit has an amazing music scene. Their
I love
venues,
Detroit.
it really like can be hit or miss because I've seen some great shows, but Detroit's very like spread out, and
Yeah.
Brad's in Detroit right now.
How's Detroit, Brad?
It's well, I'm not in Detroit specifically. I always have to make that distinction. Like the suburbs
are
of
you?
the city. So I live. So I'm right now. I'm like in the basically like the south suburbs of Detroit, and it's kind of like Chicago or anywhere. It's like, oh, you're in the city or you're in the suburbs, and it's like a very like if you're like, oh, hey, I'm here. Like, no, are you really here? Or are you?
I feel like
really-
Detroit people are a little mellower about that than Chicago people, though.
Yeah, no, Chicago.
Like if you're in
people
like
argue about
Inkster,
everything.
Livonia, or whatever, no one's really gonna jump down your throat about it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I mean I've definitely been to some really good shows in Detroit. I mean, I think it just kind of depends on where you go. Tim and I, of course, are very partial to Kalamazoo as well. in terms
Oh,
of
Kalamazoo's
issues
great.
Kalamazoo's awesome.
to play shows in. It's good.
Well, I think that's actually a great example of what you're saying. Of I know who Lung is because of them playing in Kalamazoo, but I never saw y'all in Kalamazoo. Actually, do you remember where you've played in Kalamazoo?
Shakespeare's and then a record store.
You played at
Both
Satellite
records are
Records.
called-
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's Satellite Records. They're
Yeah,
both.
Because
Sure, yeah.
Kalamazoo is one of those cities where there could be like 3 basement shows, 4 bar shows, and there's really only a group of a few hundred people going out to the shows. And they can make a big difference for, yeah, I guess if you, who you meet, who's there that night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Kalamazoo is an amazing music. I do love it.
Kalamazoo is awesome.
And I don't think
Pixley Fink, we bonded over her music, didn't we? Don't you love Elizabeth Pixley Fink too?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I absolutely love that. Is it Bloodroot? What's the name of that?
Bloodroot, yeah, it's such a good album.
Yeah, I love that album very much. There's someone, Emma Dilemma. Have you ever heard of them? They remind me of Elizabeth. I'll send
Ooh,
you.
you should send me some of it.
But yeah, have you all played in have you all played in Lansing, Michigan before?
No?
Somehow no. Somehow it's like almost happened once or twice, but
Yeah, because that's another. I love that music scene. Very much. The Plurals and Cat Midway. I'm a big fan of them. But yeah, we should wrap up in a couple minutes. I guess, is there anything else? I'm gonna start with Skirt. Is there anything else you want to share about your band, or like that you're looking forward to about this release, or just the future?
We're looking forward to taking over the fucking world. I'm just kidding. With this release. That's what it feels like on the inside. It's like so exciting. But other
I'm
than that,
excited for these special like colored vinyl situation that they have at Romanos Records that's putting it out. Like they're gonna be like super cool looking too. They're not just gonna be like a final like release of this like labor of love. Like they're also like brilliantly designed. So that's really exciting. I'm pretty excited, like more than I would be, I feel like, because it's
you're a
in like
vinyl
vibrant
nerd.
color.
Have you all put out music on vinyl before?
No, that's another part. We've never done really like anything all the way through until now. So pretty excited about that. But
It's the most official skirt release to date.
yeah,
Definitely.
we're late bloomers, so we hope to keep blooming, I guess.
I hope you all do too.
I mean, I loved your CD, but this is definitely my favorite of what you all have done, and I'm glad we get to be a part of it.
Agreed. Thank
Likewise,
you.
yeah, feels really special to be releasing it with Lung. That definitely makes it more special. So
Yeah, so I guess,
Special with you all.
yeah. Lung, is there anything else you all want to share?
I think we're just really excited about this release with Skirt. We've loved playing with you all in the past, and it's kind of fun that, like, even though the world's been kind of shut down musically for a year, at least that's what it feels like. So I'm excited that, we're going to be releasing all these songs together. And yeah, the tasty vinyl from Romanos Records. It's tasty.
Edible. It's edible.
Edible. You can take it and you can eat it. It's like a fruit roll up.
How many times, like, should you just listen to it a few times, then chow down, or?
Yeah.
The optimal number of times to listen to it is 7, and then eat it.
just until it makes you hungry.
Listen to each side 7 times.
Or like listen to it until you get sick of it. So, and then
I'm sure anyone's ever tried to make edible vinyl.
that
It has to exist. It has to exist.
It's gummy. It's made out of gummy material. I would never eat it. I hate gummies. But
I mean,
Japan's
anybody
probably
would do
released
it-
gummy vinyl somewhere.
You hate gummies?
I hate. I was like, I'll have some.
Okay.
Like I might have a few trolley, night colors, bright colors or whatever. I lost 2 teeth already. I can't box with the sweets no more. I'm a chocolate hound though.
I mean, there could be like savory edible vinyl, you could press
Sweet and salty.
Tofu plate.
Like a
Tofu
beef jerky
Has some peanut butter shit.
like ham flavored.
Okay.
ham plate.
I just quit eating meat over a year ago. So
Well,
I
it's
don't
ham
know if
flavored. It's not ham. You can still eat it.
It's
It'd be
tofu
like a
flavor
tofu
like
jerky.
ham.
The very
Ham
important
tofu
distinction.
vinyl.
So, yeah, so
Like tofu would just absorb the grooves. You'd have to have like something firm like seitan or something like that to like really.
Yeah.
What about like a
Groove plate.
sugar thing, like melted down sugar, but like a really intense rock sugar? But then you flavor it with ham and tofu, but it's not real ham. It's like vegetarian ham.
right, so we have a
Yeah.
rock candy ham
Like
flavored
Christmas
bread.
crackle, like the Christmas shards, the little sugar shards, and you could break the fucking record, and everybody gets a piece. Crack.
I just have to talk to Chris Banta at Romanes Records about it, because if anybody can do any of this, it's probably him.
Yeah, that'll be our next release with Romanus. Will be the
Tina,
Chicken
Chunk
Candy
record.
record.
Edible vinyl.
Hear me out. Hear me out. I've got it. Peanut brittle.
Oh.
I'm in.
I would
About
eat it too quick. I wouldn't listen to it. That's the problem. You can't make it taste that good.
See,
Yeah.
that's perfect for me. That's like I don't want to eat peanut brittle unless there's like nothing else. So
Really? Well, what if? Okay. Well, so
And
it
you'll
works
keep
for
the
you.
records. You can keep your record.
yeah. So hopefully I would love the record. I just want to eat it. But the nuts would get in the way, or would that just be like a planned skip?
Plan skip. That's where the track skipped. That's the breaking the tracks.
So you'd have to write and record based off of where you think the nut might be.
So what could go wrong?
I've got a dirty mind.
That's the future of music. I mean, keep it interesting.
Mhm.
This is the best interview of all time. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you, Brad.
Let's get him the content that people want.
Brittle vinyl.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us. I'm gonna go try to move a piano now.
Oh no.
But I hope that sometime in a few months we can see y'all play outdoors. And Long already knows this, but SKRT, get a hold of me if you ever want to play in Indiana.
Absolutely.
Would
We'll do
love
that.
to set something up.
Definitely.
You should
Thanks,
come play
dude.
with us. They have an awesome setup and it's always fun.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank
So, all right, Brad, did you have anything else before we wrap up?
No, just that edible vinyl is the next human innovation yet to happen. So, and also thank you very much for coming on this interview. It was fun.
Not a
Thank you for
problem.
having us.
Sorry for the delay earlier.
No worries at all. All right, look forward to the album and hopefully see y'all in 2021.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bye, y'all.
Take care.
Take care, everyone.
Later.
Thanks for interviewing.
Later.
Thanks.
Bye.